Let's see if it will live stream the meeting. It says it is. We shall see. Redirecting to YouTube. So all right, look at this. It is live on YouTube. Now, the problem is I cannot see if I'm looking at the YouTube feed, which looks like not good, by the way. So I'm not going to look at that feed. I'm going to look at the feed from here on Zoom. And let's see, right at the top of the hour, that's when I will really start. So I hope everybody's doing well out there. If there's someone here who wants to say something, say hi to me on YouTube, please do. I am going to be doing this from Zoom and from YouTube. So I'm trying to get really fancy. So we'll see if this will actually work. So welcome everyone. It's good to see. I see the chat room feature there. I don't know if I've ever gone live from YouTube, but here I am. And I am going to, at the top of the hour, in about 30 seconds or so, I'm going to hit record, and now I'm going to go ahead and get started because I'm not a believer in keeping people waiting. I like to be prompt and on time as much as possible. So it is 8 o'clock. Let me go ahead and hit the record button here and let's get it going. Hello, everyone. It is your girl, it's Sia Knight, and welcome to my 5-part series, Finding Peace During the Pandemic. Finding Peace During the Pandemic. Now, this is really an event that I thought about as the pandemic began. Now that we sit here, as I'm recording this, we are about 6 months in, and we're all tired of this. So, very early, I knew, I said to myself, I said, people are going to need to have something. They're going to need to talk. They're going to need to kind of make it through this together. And so I came up with an idea for this event. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share whether or not you know you're in the right place. Okay, you ready? Because sometimes you hear an advertisement for an event and you're not sure. You're like, oh, maybe I'm in the right place, maybe I'm not in the right place. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's a quiz to let you know if you are in the right place. So the first question is this: has the pandemic, COVID-19, that Rona, whatever you want to call it, has it got you down? One thing that some people have discovered, found out, seen is the fact that because of the pandemic, their quote unquote normal behaviors have changed. And some people find themselves indulging in a number of things, overeating. I'm not calling anyone out like myself. So some people are overeating, over drinking. Some people who have had problems with substance abuse and have been clean for years are like, oh, they have gone back to a number of different things because of the coronavirus and the stress that it's had on everyone, really. So that's the first question, okay? To find out whether or not you are here when you're supposed to be. The first question is, has the pandemic got you down? Okay. Second question, has 2020, the whole year, not just the pandemic, because the pandemic is bad enough in and of itself, got it. But has the whole year got you tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, all of the things? Are you over 2020? So if that is the case, then again, you are in the right place because I don't know about you, but 2020 is relentless. It has no chill, as the kids would say. It is really beating us all up. And so if you're tired of 2020, you're in the right place. The next place, do you need a place, a space, a voice to try to kind of share your feelings? If you're saying, "Gosh, I'm feeling this way, but I'm feeling a little isolated, a little lonely, a little like I'm in a silo," this is the right place for you. Okay. And then the last thing to figure out whether or not you are in the right place is, are you ready for some ideas or some steps to get you back on track, no matter what the rest of the year brings? Are you ready just to try something because you're tired of wallowing in yuck? Okay. If that's the case, you're in the right place. So, and you're in the right place, and I'm the right person if you answered yes to any of those questions. And you're like, "Who are you, lady?" And let me tell you, my name is Sia Knight. I am I want to say, lifelong educator. I've been in education for over 25 years, and I'm also a person who has um, I'm also the host of Lessons in Savvy Living, which is a podcast that I have real women, real stories, real lessons. So we share that. Hello, Kenya. How are you? So I am a certified life coach, and I am here on this journey with you, just trying to figure it out, just trying to make it. So that's who I am. So I am glad that you are listening on YouTube. Those of you who are in Zoom, I'm glad you're here. Thank you and welcome. So let's talk about finding peace during the pandemic. So if you know me, if you know anything about me, and you know that I love the acronyms, right? So I decided, okay, what I really desired for myself, and talking to my friends, my colleagues, my family members, what we wanted was peace during this pandemic. So what I've done is I've taken the word peace and I have figured out 5 areas we're going to talk about this week in terms of finding out, how do we manage 5 areas in our lives. So the first letter is P. Okay. So when we talk about P, when we're talking about that in the area of our lives that we're going to try to address, we're going to talk about physical space. Now it's interesting because it's a P, but we're going to talk about physical, which begins with the P, physical space. Now, I had to deal with this personally when I started to work from home. And it was very interesting because I have a nice little office set up, and it's where I talk to you guys from. It's where I do my podcasting from. But I had to make sure that this space, this place, this area could serve what I needed when it came to doing work from home, as well as serve as my office for whatever else I wanted to do. So I had to look around. I had to make sure that everything was well in hand. I had to make sure that I had everything that I needed. I needed a second monitor, so I made arrangements to get that. So what I would say about your physical space is to make sure it works for you. Make sure it works for you, because many times we are in a physical space, we're in a place that has just accumulated lots of stuff throughout the years, lots of um, books and lots of pens. I really still do have a bunch of pens and pencils. That's true, but what I wanted to do and what I would invite you to do is to be more intentional about your place, about your space. I want you to know why you have this item here and this item there. Now, that will help to make you feel a lot better. So, when it comes to your physical space, there are three things that you can do. There are three levels that I would like to submit to you that could help you when it comes to moving forward and getting into a better place. So, the first level is cleaning. Now, it sounds really pedestrian. It sounds really duh, what are you talking about? Of course, I'll be cleaning or I'm not going to clean or whatever. But how much better do a lot of us feel when our places, our spaces are neat and tidy? So I want you to be more intentional about that, and more intentional about, gosh, I really haven't totally cleared this area in years. So I'm going to do that, start from scratch. So that's one thing you can do. So there's cleaning, then there's organizing. Now, some of you all, if you're like me, I buy all of these organizational tools and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And I just end up with the whole bunch of um, like stuff and in which I have uh, it just becomes more junk. I would invite you not to do that. But take the time after you've cleaned and organized, you might be ready for the next step, which is to redecorate. Again, now this is something that if you have the time, the energy, the wherewithal to do, I would say it may make this whole the pandemic, COVID-19, if you're working from home, it might make it more palatable for you. If you are a person, you love HD TV, you want to get into the feng shui of it all, you're a big Marie Kondo fan, and you want to spark joy, then that's one thing that I would invite you to consider, because that's the first step to making sure that we're being intentional about what we do, where we do it, and how we move in the space we're in. So really, that's the first letter when it comes to finding peace during the pandemic. These are going to be quick tips. These are going to be very short, actionable items. I'm not going to sit here because one another thing that we have is time. We have time, but you don't want to spend all your time looking at screens, watching things all day, all night. You're on Zoom calls. So I'm purposely making these sessions very, very short in order to make sure that you have just something to think about and an action item to do. So the action item that I have for you tonight, and in the next 24 hours, is I want you to at least evaluate your space. For me, when I talk about my space, I'm talking about my workspace, where I do my work from, where I do my podcasting from. Evaluate that space. Figure out whether you want to clean, organize, or redecorate it, and start making steps. Okay. We're not trying to save the world or do everything right now, today, this week. This is just so that we can get a start. So, that's all that I have for this evening. I just wanted to touch base with you. I just wanted to have a meeting of the minds. Tomorrow, I'm going to move on to the next letter in peace, which is E, and I'm going to talk about, actually, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to talk about. Tune in tomorrow and find out what the next area is that I will invite you to kind of examine so that we can try to make the best out of the rest of 2020. A lot of people are like, 2020 is canceled, but you know what? Guess what? There's still about 100 days left in 2020. If let me see, September, October, November, December. There are a lot of days left in 2020. So you can't cancel the rest of the year. So this is just an effort to make the most of the time that we have left. What you don't want to do is look back and say, boy, I should have done this. I should have done that. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Finding Peace During the Pandemic. If you have any ideas if you want to elaborate on any of the things that I mentioned this evening, please do so in my Facebook page, on my Facebook page. It's called 40 Something Savvy, or you can post it on my personal page, See a Night, and I will direct it to 40 Something Savvy. But I really want to keep this conversation going because my goal is for all of us to come out better after this whole experience. And I used to use an expression, I want us to emerge renewed, but I don't know when we're going to emerge. So I kind of scratch that. We need to just try to renew ourselves as we go along. How about that? So that's it for this evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for the people on YouTube, and thank you so much for the people who are on Zoom. If you're watching this video, thanks so much. And until next time, guys, stay savvy. Bye.